Today we're doing another fish species. We got another recommendation from this time Pete the Frog. He's getting a baby Fahaka puffer, and he wanted more information on it, so we're gonna um, do a video on it today. So, and also his channel and everything will be down in the description if you want to check it out. So Fahaka puffers, um, they look like your normal huge puffer, but obviously they're freshwater, not salt. And I'll pop up a few pictures right here. So when you're smaller, you probably expect them to look like something like this. See if we get focus on this image. There we go. So probably expect it to look something like that. They're really they're really tiny. They have really big fins and almost more of they're more fat and wider than normal puffers that are super small. Usually they're super skinny, and then over time they get very very large. And this is kind of what a full grown fox puffer. And if I autofocus, okay, and if I have good editing skills, right now will pop up a clip from when I was at my local fish store when I was getting these fish. They had a big Fahaka puffer. Um, it was just a display one, I think. But so right now I'll pop a video of that. A video of that. So the Fahaka puffer, it's definitely on the aggressive side, and that goes for really any puffer. All puffers are going to be aggressive. There's exceptions like the Amazon puffer and all that, which are people consider them nice, and they've been able to keep them community tanks. But for the most part, all puffers are going to be mean. It's just what it is, and most of the time you can probably either keep them with really large fish the same size, or just keep them as its own species tank, and that's probably what I'd recommend. Because usually puffers are more of like they're like the dogs of like fish. That's kind of they're more personal most of the time. They're really smart. So the Fahaka puffer, it's also known as the Nile puffer, the Bam puffer. You're mostly gonna find it as the Fahaka puffer though. That's the most common. It comes from lakes and rivers from Africa, and like I said, they go to very large sizes. They go to sizes to about a foot. That's usually what they get, around 12 to 15 inches. They can obviously always get bigger, but expect in an aquarium that depending on what you put it in, you know, over time it'll get that size if you allow it to. And that's if you keep it for a long time, obviously. It is both fresh and brackish, so maybe you start out fresh and then slowly acclimate it to brackish. Now, it doesn't necessarily need brackish water. It does usually better in fresh water. So it's kind of your decision on what you think is best, but you can definitely switch it to a little bit, I wouldn't say full brackish, but you can definitely, slowly acclimate it to that brackish water eventually in its life. But that's not, it's not like a have to, like a figure eight or any of those. It's not like a must-have you must do when they get bigger. The Fahaka is brownish gray, and the back is fading off to like a white running down its belly and tail. So the bottom's kind of white, but it mostly stays like kind of like a stripe of like a brownish yellowish color. That's mostly how you're gonna see them, unless it's some weird breed. But other than that, they're all gonna look about the same. Um, so the aquarium, this is a big one. Like just like Pete the Frog, he's getting a 1 inch one. We'll use his as an example. If he's getting a 1 inch one, and it had its tank by itself, yes, a 1 inch one, it could definitely sit in that 20 or 30 gallon, but that's definitely not going to be its life aquarium. Definitely not. If you're just holding it, it can definitely fit. Something like I have, like a 40 gallon. It can sit in there, and maybe for a few months, maybe like a half a year, 6 months. But after that, you're gonna really have to start upgrading this tank, because these puffers get big and they make a mess. And if you don't have the filtration to keep up with them, you're gonna have more trouble than you want. And so once they get to that 1 foot mark, you're gonna have to do some 100 gallons and over. Probably, I mean, I've seen them. I've seen people put them in 75s. It's just if it's its own species tank and it's the only thing in there, it might do fine. But most of the time, people won't keep them by themselves, so you're gonna have other things in there. So that's where it comes in, where you want maybe a 125, even maybe close to a 200 probably would be the best, I would say. Especially, I mean, for a fish that gets over a foot, I mean, 200 is probably what you're looking at for the rest of its life if it's at a foot. So Faka puffers, there's always, puffers in general, when it comes to the breeding, puffers don't really get bred that well in captivity. There is, obviously like door puffers. I mean, there's a reason why they're cheaper and everything, but um, but there's stuff like Shindendai, Amazon, Faka. Um, there's a lot of them that just can't get bred and they've never been bred in a captivity. They maybe have once, but in general, nobody's ever actually successfully like continuously bred them in captivity. And why, we don't know. Obviously you can't replicate everything in the wild, so it's harder to breed some of these stuff um, naturally. And so that's why some of these puffers are more expensive or just more rare. Um, that's why dwarf puffer figure eight, green spotted, some of those they're always available just because they actually do get bred in, pretty often. Maybe not as often, some fish like it's not like snails or maybe like a neon tetra where we have millions on top of millions of those. And puffers, it just comes down to so many, and you have to catch them wild too. They have to get them out of the wild, so it's like the Shodentai. It's probably the rarest puffer out of all, and it's freshwater, and it's pretty expensive, and it's actually something I considered to put in this 20-gallon because it would actually do well. Obviously, I'd have to upgrade paint maybe a 30 or 40 over time, but it was a puffer that I was looking at. But there's another one that I kind of like better, so that's what made me go towards that. But the Shindendai, yeah, you can expect to pay 300 or 400, maybe even 500 for one. Um, but I know AZ Gardens had one. Obviously, I just did a review on them, so do not buy from them. But they do have some. They're out of stock now, but they did have some. But I don't know. That's the only preview I've seen even sell them online. But they're very expensive puffer, but they only come out once a year, just like the Amazon and all that. So you have to get them while they last. But Faka and all the puffers, you can get them anytime you want. They're relatively easy to get. So care and everything, I mean, as long as you experience with fish and at least bigger fish and you know how to care and you know how to check parameters and you can keep everything stable and you're good at that, you won't have no trouble keeping this thing alive. But the thing you need to watch out for puffers is you need things that can trim down their teeth. Even if there's just rocks in the tank, they could chomp on down the rocks, but you want to make sure their food can chomp down the teeth. So anything like snails, especially for a Faka puffer, you definitely want something bigger. There might be bigger snails, I don't know, but usually you feed them like clams. Um, what I have right now in the fridge is clams and a half, and that's just half of a clam, which works perfect, especially for a Faka puffer too. That would work perfect. Um, just to get them eaten and stuff, or bloodworms, anything. I would say anything frozen. They're not going to eat anything processed or pellets or flakes. They're not going to eat any of that. You're mostly going to feed puffers live thing or frozen. It's the only thing that could possibly feed them. So, you won't be able to feed them anything you would feed your tetras. You'd have to feed live food or, anything frozen. And there's lots of frozen choices, but I would say the best things are bloodworms and then clams or snails. And the clams, they'll really trim down their teeth good, and the snails. When they're littler, I think there's bigger snails that you could feed Fakas, but usually when puffers get a little bit bigger, clams are probably the best option at that point. They get pretty expensive too, because I paid like $7 for like 12 of them, so it gets pretty expensive, but owning a puffer, you should probably know that before buying it. But, I guess if you guys care about water conditions, your regular 72 to 78, maybe a little bit warmer. It is from Africa, so that could possibly be a thing. Hardness 8 to 15 and pH is 7 to 8. It can go a little bit higher for pH, other than besides other fish. So that's probably a good thing for some of you. Um, 'Cause probably most of us have a pretty higher pH at a tap. But other than that, that is a Fahaka puffer. And if you guys want me, I don't want to continuously do like the same kind of species on this series. We can eventually do another puffer. We just have to, maybe wait another 10 episodes and then do another puffer. But I'll definitely do more puffers. I already did my first episode. Actually, we've already done 3 puffers. We did the dwarf African Amazon, and then now this the Fahaka puffer. So we've already done 3 species out of 13 episodes or 14 episodes. So we already done plenty of puffers. But we can definitely do more. I would like to do. I think the Mabu puffer would be pretty cool. It's just kind of weird when people click on this video and I don't have one myself, so it's just like, I mean, people were expecting more out of me. But we can definitely do more of the smaller ones. Maybe the Shindendai. I think we could do that one next because I doubt there's videos on that puffer. Maybe not that much, but other than that, if you guys want to recommend a video for or a fish, you'd be next on the list. So anything that you guys recommend down below, you'll definitely be first. And whoever, if somebody else comments, we'll put you next. But I'll try to get all of you. I've been off for 8 days straight now, so I've been able to catch up on videos on everything I need to. I need to do a new plant series, but video, but I haven't got any new plants yet, and I like to show the plants. So I'm definitely going to make one next week because I have a plant coming today or tomorrow, so we'll see that. But other than that, anything recommended, even if it's nothing related to the fish or plants, if you want to have a review on filter, or if you want me to teach you something that you need to know about, I can definitely make a video just for you and upload it, and it gives me extra ideas. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.